Hi everybody, welcome to the Sunday Gold stream today. I am Felix, a game designer at Become Studios, and I'll be playing Chapter 2 in Sunday Gold, the game that we made, and that is out right now. I'll get started with the game in a couple of minutes, and hopefully if somebody hears me and can give me a thumbs up that I sound okay. I mean, this is the voice I have, but, you know, volume-wise. And just if you're in chat, if you want to say hi, feel free. Thank you. And hi. And if you're in the chat, you want to say hi, feel free. If you want to ask questions, I'm open for that. I like to talk about the game. I like to talk about what we do. And if you want to speak French, je peux faire ça aussi. So let's get started now. I'll continue where I was last time I played in the stream. So let's get into the game. So we pick up where we left off last time. We are infiltrating a warehouse that might have something more sinister hidden underneath. And we have just gained access to the lobby over here that leads to what looks like a high-tech secret lab. So now we have to find a way to get into the sanitization area, which is this spot over here on the map. And we will do that by copying fingerprints to use on the fingerprint scanner, the security door here with this fingerprint scanner. If we examine it. Yeah. So there's a fingerprint scanner. We're gonna need to find a way to get in there. And I'm gonna give myself a chin on this camera angle over here. There you go, my chin. And so what is Sunday Gold? It's an adventure game in the classic, basically Monkey Island, King's Quest and all that jazz of that genre. And it also has RPG elements where our characters, over here, Gavin, Frank, and Sally, have experience points and they gain levels as you progress through the game. So you're gonna unlock new skills to use in combat, to use outside of combat, and you're gonna be able to solve puzzles and progress through the game. Because currently our mission is to go after Kenny Hogan, the bad guy in the game. Basically, he's some kind of billionaire, trillionaire oligarch that has its claws into all kinds of nefarious activities, according to the characters anyways. And yeah, we're going to try to discover his plans. Right now, we are looking at his facility over here and trying to investigate what's happening. Also, again, a reminder that if you're in the chat, you want to say hi, really happy to chat with people. And I'm okay. Just wondering if I had access to the list. So let's look at as a reminder, let's look at the objective log over here. So Frank has its little kind of basic information about what's happening, and now we have to find a UV torch to find a fingerprint somewhere in the environment. So let's go look in the utility room, as Frank says over here. There might be a lamp in there, or a torch. So now we're in the utility room.
This is where I was working last week.
And how exactly did you go from doing computer things to gutting two scientists? A meltdown over a bad file name? That Steve guy?
As a reminder, Steve is Gavin's old colleague, and he's not the best one at what he does, so Gavin's not a fan of that Steve guy.
Can you turn down the sarcasm for just 1 minute, Frank?
Sally, you know, she's Frank's friend and everything and colleague, but yeah, sometimes Frank just piles it on heavy a bit with the sarcasm.
Actually, I was livid about having to fix something that Steve had fucked up on the server. But then I heard a blood-curdling scream. The guard assigned to keep me company left the room for a moment to tell the receptionist to keep the emergency exit shut.
And you went to investigate?
Not yet. I knew my escort wouldn't let me wander off. So I came up with a way to get him off my back.
The fire?
Yeah. I overloaded the server and turned off the cooling system. Wasn't long until it caught fire. Then I was able to sneak out of here and, you know the rest.
So as we could hear, every line of dialogue in the game is voiced with actors. So whenever the characters chat between each other, but not when I, let's say, examine this couch, because Frank isn't going to say everything that comes to mind out loud. So he's just thinking it, because there's little thought bubbles over here. But when they're speaking between each other, or there's something that needs to be called out, or you talk to the villains, or you talk to other characters, they're voiced. And I think that adds a lot to the experience, because, yeah, you can read it, and if you're in another language, because the voices are in English and in French Canadian, you can read it and hear the not normal, but the English version over what you're reading in your language. And I think it adds a lot to the experience. The actors did a great job, as you could hear right now. So I think that adds a lot to the experience, yeah. Just going in circles, but yeah. So now let's look for a UV torch. What's happening in this room that could be interesting to look at? We have this crate of equipment over here. Let's go have a look. So let's open that crate. Oh. So we found some explosives that we can give to Gavin. So as an adventure game and RPG, the characters have inventories that you can go through. So now we have consumables that we can use to restore, in this case, health with painkillers. If you played Max Payne, that's where the inspiration came from. But there's a lot of games that use that system of potions within the modern world. We have stimulants, and we have booze, we have antipsychotics, because the characters can start losing their mind after a while, so you can restore their composure with these little pills over there. But now what we're looking for is this new piece of gear that we found, some explosives. Gavin is the explosives guy, because he's kind of the sort of anarchist. Well, I think if we look at his skill tree over here, there's an anarchy line of skills. So if we equip him with this piece of gear, he's going to get an extra level for his crude grenade skill, so he's going to be more powerful and better, and he's going to deal more damage or have more effects with explosive consumables. So let's equip that. So now we have an enhancement item over here, some body armor to protect him, and we have his weapons. So he's got like a baseball bat and a 9mm pistol. So let's keep investigating. We're almost out of action points. The game runs on an action point system, because when you're playing your turn, you have a pool of action points for all three characters, and when they're expended, or when you decide to end the turn, you end the turn, some events take place, and then you're refilled with action points and you're ready to go again to keep exploring. So let's look at this cricket equipment over here. So Robbie, so he likes cricket because he brings his stuff to work. So let's grab, let's grab a cricket bat, and that's for Gavin. So let's give it to Gavin. He's gonna pack a little more punch in combat. So now we see that the baseball bat inflicts 22 to 29 damage. If we use the cricket bat instead, it's going to be 30 to 42 damage, which is going to be a significant improvement. It's a little less accurate, but we're going to just make up for it with just heavier damage. And now it does 30 to 42, but when you equip it on Gavin with his current skills, he's going to inflict 41 to 58 damage with it. So it changes a bit. Well, only Gavin can equip bats, but depending on what skills you have and what level he is, that's going to change a little bit. And now we're almost out of action points. I'm going to use some of Sally's action points to heal herself a lot, and I'm going to end the turn. So now something happens. And people are on our tail, so let's be careful about that. And the music is a little more tense, it feels like. Speaking of, awesome work with ambiance, sounds, and music, and all the audio package for the game that was done by our PVL, our partner in audio, basically. And okay, let's just since we were talking about partners, the game was made by BCom Studios, which I'm part of, and a whole other lot of people that worked on the game. We could go see the credits, but you can go see the credits when you pick up the game. And we're a team from Quebec City with remote work. We had some people in Vancouver and some people Montreal, I think, and a couple other places. And it's published by Team 17, which is a studio from the UK. So that was a big partnership with is it Canada Media Fund or Canadian Media Fund, but CMF or FMC, depending on if you're English or French, that also helped. So now, yeah, just a lot of work by a lot of great, talented people that all came together to make this cool thing that we have over here. So I'm going to keep looking for a UV torch. So I could look at the lockers. So Robert Gates. It's empty. M. Fox. Let's go look at this one. Okay, Michelle Fox. But it's locked. Frank is sort of sneaky, like burglar type, so he's good at picking locks. So now we are going to go look at Frank's lock picking minigame. This one is an easy lock, so it's going to be easy. I just have to line up the little pick thing over here with the spot, the sweet spot, that's the golden area over here, and align the markers inside the sweet spot as they rotate. Click. Too easy. So now the locker is unlocked. I can search it, but I'll use Sally because Frank's going to be out of action points if I use him for that. And I found a UV torch. So we're going to find a use for that UV torch.
Brilliant, we'll be able to find fingerprints. Let's check the most common places people put their dirty bell ringers on. Once we find them, we'll just have to carefully lift a copy with some adhesive tape.
So, little Cockney rhyming slang from Frank over here to spice up and add to the Londonian English feel of the experience. Because, yeah, if you're not familiar, the game takes place in a somewhat near future London in 2070, where society's gone downhill a bit. So the characters are citizens of that time, so they're kind of living in that world, but they have some, I think, interesting expressions that they use and interesting personalities as well, because you're not just piloting 3 generic dudes and women that just go through the game and just like, oh, we're blank slates, we're gonna do the thing that you ask us for, and then that's it. No, they're characters with personalities that interact with each other and kind of clash a lot of the times because they're semi-good people, to just say criminals. And yeah, they're these characters that have like these interactions between each other. Like Frank and Sally have been partners for a long time. They're colleagues in their criminal enterprises. And Gavin's the new guy, so they're not too sure that he's all that good at what he does or that he's super on the up and up with them. So he might be lying or doing something kind of that's not going to help. So yeah, there's this dynamic that takes place between all of them. So we can go update the mission log. So now we're going to be able to lift a fingerprint. So we're going to need to find some adhesive tape. Okay. Shouldn't be too bad. Where can we find that? Weapon locker? The workbench, maybe? Let's go have a look. Okay, there's no tape over here, so let's go look at the blueprint. Let's pick up the glue. Might come in handy. So now I need Scotch tape basically. So I'm gonna go back to the lobby because there's a desk that might have office supplies in there. So let's go have a look at that desk. And just if you're in the chat, you want to say hi, si vous voulez dire bonjour. I can speak French, English, I can answer questions, I can take reasonable criticism without flipping out. Just, you know, I don't bite. And yeah, just if you're in here and you want to say hi, feel free. So now I have this computer with a cool high-tech keyboard. I'm gonna look at the magazine on the desk. So that gives me a little moment to say, like, all this cool art that we have in the game, from the rooms that we're exploring to the little bits like this magazine, some pamphlets, some posters, that was all made, well, some of it was made by Volta, all the rooms, a studio in Quebec as well. So a big partnership of people just holding hands and singing around the campfire. And this cool art was made internally or assembled by our awesome team of artists. So now I can have a look. It's information about the world. So I can close that, and I'm gonna look inside the drawer. So I found some adhesive tape. So good job, me. And let's go back out. So now I'm gonna lift the fingerprint. I need the tape, but I'm gonna need to find the fingerprint. So how do I go about doing that? Oh, let's go look at this other magazine. I think it's really nice. So now we have Dog Racing Weekly, because Hogan and his organization are involved in dog racing. And they're not like cute cuddly dogs, they're big monster modified cyber dogs with robotic implants, and they're technically dogs, basically. Let's say 25% dog, and then the rest is machine and weird science experiment. So that's kind of this weird sport that's super popular now. It has replaced football / soccer in the UK. It's the big deal now, so everybody follows that. Now I'm going to use my blacklight to have a look if I can find a fingerprint. And there's one on the business cards, so I'm going to copy it with my adhesive tape. So I've got this loop fingerprint negative.
Step 3. Making a blank mold to hold a fingerprint. Some glue inside a small metal ring would be ideal.
Probably spare metal bits in the warehouse and glue in the utility room.
We can use a workbench in the utility room to make the mold once we have everything.
Speaking of RPG mechanics, I just leveled up because I got experience points from completing a step of the objective. So now Gavin has more hit points than he had before, more avoidance, and he gets 2 new abilities that I can use in combat. So I'm gonna exit this hotspot. And yeah, let's go have a look at the computer. This one's just open to everyone. And I can look at what's happening in the office because somebody left their computer open. We're gonna get there. A little talking to from the IT guys, I think. So now Ruth, the new chief security officer of the business, of Hogan Industries in general. Just now reminds everybody that, you know, just do your job when you're working. Don't let intruders in, because as Gavin was explaining, he was an intruder a couple of weeks ago, well, last week, in the building, and he caused a little disturbance that we're going to discover more about eventually.
It looks like security's gone up a notch since my last visit. This may not go as smoothly as I'd hoped.
We came here on a maintenance job and left them with 2 stiffs. How do you think they'd react?
Only thing to do is keep moving forward. If we get blocked off, we'll just find ourselves another way.
And now some office happenings over here, where Emma is sick of people stealing her lunch. So yeah, she's gonna kill somebody with rat poison. And now we have this big conversation over here, which we're not gonna read. Well, I'm not gonna read all the way through, but yeah, just something's happening, and James and Pamela are just bored out of their minds, just chatting the whole day. So now we see their conversation log that just happens to be on their computer. And now it's a big thing about people wearing gloves and who touched what. So now we have all this little banter over here. Yeah, the electrician is fiddling with the breaker box. Yeah. So now that means that I'm going to need a scientist's fingerprints to enter the sanitization area. And just reading it right now. Yes.
Holy shit. What do these people do all day? Seems a lot of faffing about.
Considering all the products that Hogan Industries puts out, you'd think they'd be busier.
This place is a front for something much darker.
There he goes again with all the... There's an underground prison shit.
Speaking of solid line readings, that's fun.
I was right about the lab, weren't I?
And also, I'm not sure if you're picking it up as you're listening, but there's some echo because we're in an echoey room in the game. So we kind of hear a little echo on mostly Frank and Sally's voices because Gavin's a bit softer.
Sure, but I still have my doubts. What do you two make of this chat log?
The scientist fellow seems pretty weird.
I've heard about him. A legend of sorts around here. Proper germaphobe. Always wearing his medical gloves. Guess it's noteworthy that he took them off.
When that kind of event is noteworthy, your life must be a fucking snooze fest.
So now we know that the scientist, from reading the chat log, we know that the scientist took the electrician's business card, and tossed it in the trash because he wasn't a good electrician. So we're gonna go look if we can find a fingerprint, because the scientist wasn't wearing his gloves when he did that. Just gonna copy this one, and that's the swirl fingerprint.
Now to make the mold for this fingerprint.
Okay. So now I have this fingerprint, and I picked up the glue a couple minutes ago, and I'm gonna go into the warehouse to find a little metal ring. I completed, not necessarily completed that room when I played last week, but yeah, currently the security guy is locked into his office because it's an electric door, so we pulled the breaker and kind of stuck him in there. And now we have to find something in the junk bin. A little titanium ring. So let's go back down to the lobby. And into the utility room. And I will need to assemble all, oops, not the skill tree, the inventory. All the key items together. So now I have my swirl fingerprint, my titanium ring, but Sally has the glue, so I'll give it to Gavin. And with all 3 items in his bag, he's going to be able to make the mold. Gavin? Yep.
Step 4, making a fingerprint cast. We put the fingerprint negative and the blank mold together.
Also, if you're in the chat, you want to say hi, it'd be really nice. I like having people to talk to. And yeah, just if you have questions, if you played the game, if you haven't tried it. Hey, Fred. I'm assuming it's Fred. Nice to see you here. So I will be able to make the cast of the swirl fingerprint, which is the one picked up from the trash can. So let's make that. So now I have my cast of the swirl fingerprint, but I need to cure it first, so I'll need to heat it up so the glue kind of sets.
Now for the 5th and final step. We have to heat up this bad boy to seal it.
Yeah, so Frank knows the way.
Heat it? How?
Is there a blowtorch in here?
I'd say that's a big fat no, due to there being gas cylinders everywhere.
Right then, back to the warehouse. We'll find something not there.
So step 5, heating the cast. Let's go to the lobby. And what could be hot? I mean, if normally you wouldn't take a week-long break between sessions, so there's this valve over here that controls the steam that comes out of this pipe. So let's open it. And now there's this hot steam that's just, it's scalding hot. So let's try to do something with our swirl fingerprint. And it's ready to use. And I get the titanium ring back.
And there you have it, a fingerprint copy.
Will it work?
Well, only way to be sure is to test it on a scanner.
So let's go try the fingerprint copy. Yes. Yeah, if we have this English VO, and thank you, Misty Boss. It is indeed really nice. Just the audio team did great work. And yeah, the VO are in English for all the languages, but there's also a French-Canadian VO that's really fun. And speaking of great actors, I mean, the English actors are great, the French-Canadian actors are great also. So if you want to check it out, you want to listen to it how we speak. And if you're either French-Canadian or you want to get really thrown off by some strange language, that's not really usable if you go to France, but if you come to Quebec, you're going to be set to use that. So let's try our copy of a swirl fingerprint on the security door and scan it and see if I remember the sequence properly. Oh yeah, boom, one scientist's fingerprint for you. So now, we completed the part of the mission. We have unlocked the security door, and we now have access to the lab. So awesome. Then there's Frank again talking about what's happening. We can examine the door to the lab.
This one won't be as simple as the previous door. It's protected by a retinal scanner. Probably can't get around with a glue mold. Unless...
Gav, do you know another way to get into the lab?
When I was last here, I saw a freight elevator in the prison. It makes sense that it would connect to the one that we saw in the warehouse.
So we need to take the freight elevator down.
It's likely guarded, or at least requires a special ID to use. I've got an idea. Sally, you'll walk in like you own the place.
Intriguing, but how's that going to work?
We'll just have our lovely Sally pass as that head scientist lady. Simple.
Huh. My plan is a little more simple and involves a more forceful approach.
Tough choice.
So now, which chapter did I have the most fun working on? I think I really like chapter 2. There's a nice mix of puzzles, exploration, like finding stuff, fighting enemies, and the conversation puzzles that we added to the game because, well, we're going to reach a branching point in like one click. So we have some places in the game. Well, we're going to see that. So basically now Frank suggests a plan where he's going to make Sally infiltrate by sneaking in. And Sally says, screw that, let's just go like break everything down. So we're going to have to choose what we're going to do. So the sneak in approach has these fun character, like conversation puzzles that have a lot of personality and a lot of fun interactions that just like add little tidbits about the characters that I'm going to go do right now. So let's sneak in with Sally disguised as the head scientist.
But this plan of yours had better work.
But she's not too happy about it because Frank's plan basically says like, oh, we're gonna just relax in here, and Sally, you're gonna go do the work over there and let us know when you're done.
It's pretty simple. We'll have Sally pass for that head scientist lady, Diane Rixton.
Which we've discovered in the first chapter. She's basically Sally's twin, so it's gonna be easy stuff.
So Diane is coming in late to work overtime, but she forgot her ID.
Brilliant. You can talk to the guard on duty to convince him to let you into the lower levels. You're the boss of this place, after all.
Won't he notice immediately that I'm not actually Diane?
Sally doesn't really believe that she's Diane's twin. Well, she's not her twin, but she looks exactly alike. Like, the guys are totally wrong about that, according to her.
He'll dress you up to look like a scientist.
And if you clean up a bit, the face shouldn't be a problem. Plus, you'll be wearing a mask.
Clean up? Fuck you, Frank. And what if the guard asks questions?
We'll be right here to help you with that.
And when I pull this off flawlessly and get into the prison, then what?
We'll get to witness your amazing ability to think on your feet and improvise.
You do know what a plan means, right?
Pull your mask up a bit higher. We can still see your never-ending scowl.
You'll do great. I have total confidence in you.
Okay, but there'll be hell to pay if this goes sideways.
So, Sally is ready.
There's something in the coat's pocket.
Oh, she found something.
4143. I wonder what that's for.
So now we have reached a section of the game where we could have used Sally's break everything down plan or Frank's go Sally, you're gonna sneak in plan. So when you if you play the game once, you can choose one of the two paths. If you replay the game, you can choose the same one if you want, but you can try the other one. There's, I'd say, 3 or 4 moments where you can make that kind of choice in the game. I worked on it, but it's been a while. So there's a couple of places in the game where you can make that kind of choice, and it leads to a section of the level that's different. So you're gonna have different puzzles, different conversations, different events that take place. Sometimes it's always gonna lead to the same thing at the end, but you're gonna get there in different ways. So I think that's cool. And it gives some replay value, but it also lets you play how you feel like playing. So the characters have these different interactions and this dialogue where, Frank tells Sally that if she cleans up, she's not going to be too obviously not Diane. And Sally took it pretty well, I think, as we've heard from the conversation before. So now we have, let's look at the mission log. And speaking of fun things to work on, I had a lot of fun writing the mission log where basically we are reading Frank's journal. So like now he's saying that Sally's gonna be furious at him because he made her improvise something. But yeah, now explanations. And now we have to convince the guard to unlock the freight elevator. So he's in his security booth. The last we've heard of him, he's out of power and in the dark and kind of banging on the door. So we're gonna have to go see what's happening with him. and it'll help if we find some information on him to make the conversation easier and more believable. Because we're going to have to pass as Diane to kind of convince him that we're Diane, not some intruder that looks like her. So Diane should know him a bit. They're colleagues, so they should have interacted before. So we're gonna have to try to find information about the warehouse guard. So we have this other objective over here. So let's try to find that information. Or we could just go and give it a shot. Which I think I'll do. Because it leads to a fun little interaction at the end.
Okay, gents, I'm in the warehouse. The office lights are back on.
Remember, be convincing when you talk to him.
Yeah, you're his boss. You should act like you've talked to him a bit previously.
And how would I go about doing that?
We'll need some basic information about him to get started. Or you could just wing it.
See if you can find out his name or something about him that we can work with.
Idiots! I can't just walk up to the booth and ask his name before pretending to be his boss. Oh, fuck it. I'll see what I can do. And my plans are always the ones that keep getting criticized.
So now let's try Frank's wing it strategy. And also, I really like working on chapter 2, but all the chapters are really nice. It's mostly my other game designer colleague that designed a lot of the puzzles that are throughout the game, but I worked on dialogues and refining some things and mini games and stuff. So it was a nice collaboration there as well. But all the chapters I have, they're all fun, I think, but they all have these little fun, like flavorful moments scattered all over the place that add a lot to the experience. Kind of tell you about this future world that the characters are living in, like who are the main players, what's happening in Hogan Industries, but in the world a little bit as well. So it creates this fun kind of discovery of stuff that happens around the game as well. So let's go have a chat. Well, let's end the turn first because I don't want to be caught without action points. And now everything's good. Hey there. Nice to see you. Thanks for being in the chat. I don't know if you know me. I don't know if you know the game. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm here for that. So let's go have a talk with the security guard.
Hey.
So speaking of cool stuff, like these portraits that show the characters in the conversations, they have this this cool comic book style that I think fits well with the game, where we have these comic book panels that we see in, well, when Sally got dressed up as a scientist, we saw like the comic book panels of her just comic book episodes. I'd be down for that. I've read all the reviews, not because I'm obsessed, but from reading the reviews, a lot of people were asking like, hey, it'd be nice if these characters were in more stuff. So I'd be totally okay for comic book stories or prequels or in this case I'm playing Sally solo because basically the plan kind of goes with that, but in the other plan I'd be playing with the whole team. Sometimes you'll split the party in different ways. In chapter 1 we had a moment where Frank and Sally were working together without Gavin for a while. In chapter 3 some other splits are going to happen. So the characters have these interactions that sometimes take place without some of the other characters between themselves. So I think also they have these fun moments where at some point Frank and Sally are Frank and Gavin are working together without Sally. And I think the conversations are fun because Sally's the boss of Frank's crew. Frank's the face, basically. He's going to be the people person, but Sally's the brains, and she's not like taskmaster, but she kind of keeps everything going. So when Frank slacks off, he knows that Sally's going to come down on him pretty hard. So let's try to wing it. We're going to have this conversation with Robert Gates over here, who's working the security booth. And first of all, I have to know his name. So Robert Gates. It's Robert.
Robert? Even me mum doesn't call me Robert.
Okay. Good start.
Oh, Miss Diane. Sorry, didn't know you were there.
Because kind of behind the scenes during this conversation, you're gonna accumulate points from getting the correct answers or correct kind of conversation leads or bits, and you're gonna lose points or not gain points when you get the wrong ones. So at the end, you have a score that determines how well you've performed this conversation that is going to determine what happens after the conversation. So now he kind of, like, Robert, who calls me Robert? Nobody calls me Robert, so that's not a good start.
What can I do for you?
But he realizes that it's his boss, so he's going to kind of wake up a bit and...
Oh, and by the way, I'm so sorry about what happened, ma'am.
So Sally, winging it, doesn't, like, what happened? Like Barry? Something about Barry? Her mom? Or let's go with the mom.
Your ma? I was referring to your husband who died 2 days ago, but I'm very sorry about your ma too.
So, okay, possible misstep.
Oh, my husband's death. Well, yes, that was a real tragedy. A very untimely tragedy. I'm still trying to process it.
So, trying to kind of stabilize a bit during the conversation to not look too thrown off.
Stay strong, ma'am. It'll get easier.
So, how have you been?
So now we're gonna have to kind of engage him in conversation a bit to just like, hey, we're friends, right? We're gonna be pals for a moment, even though I'm your boss. Yeah, she has I think this whole interaction is really awesome, and the voicing throughout all of that is really worth it. So, okay, he's probably following the races. Hey, Oli. Nice to see you. Nice to see all the people in the chat. So feel free to talk, feel free to ask. We can speak French, but I'm gonna follow this conversation now. Yeah, voice actors did awesome job, awesome work through everybody that, like, little bit parts or the main characters. It's awesome. So let's talk about the races because everybody's involved or fan of the races. So let's go talk about
Sure,
that.
ma'am. Every night on the telly, and I attend events as often as I can.
So, if you're a fan of Formula One, if you're a fan of NASCAR, if you're a fan of any team sports or any solo sports, you probably have a favorite sports personality in that sport or team. Or so let's try to figure out, like, Sunday Gold is the main champion. Basically, he's let's say Lewis Hamilton in Formula One before the last 2 years, where he won everything all the time, all the pole positions. So Sunday Gold is the main player in the races. So that might be his favorite. Or Big Bomber, which we've found out about a bit in Chapter 1. Or Crusader. For this one, I'll use the right answer, but...
Aye, no kidding. If I was in
'Cause I
charge,
really like-
I'd fire his ass right away. Can't believe that wanker threw in the towel early last week.
Because if you've talked to somebody about their favorite sports thing, team, or racer, or whatever, athlete, there's always something to say. So, like, oh, you've engaged him with the right thing in this case, so, oh, he's just, like, so pissed about his dog was gonna win, but the team just messed up. Like, so bad. So,
I hear you.
oh, cool, okay.
Then the week before, that idiot engineer had to go and screw up the pre-race prep.
Yeah, that engineer, I tell you.
Let's wrap it up now. Wrap it up.
Crusader was pulling ahead when it got its leg damn near ripped off by Ruby Red. If the engineer had done his job, the plating should have held.
So,
Now Sally's trying to kind of bring him back to, hey, let's quit talking about the races for a while.
Then there's that pea-brain vet. She can't fix Crusader the way she should.
can we...
That worthless team. They've got a future champion on their hands, and they can't get their shit together.
So, how have you been?
Finally exhausted the subject, but don't open that door again because he's gonna keep blabbing on about that. So now, okay, he was playing in a sports league, we think.
Of course. My team's entering a big tournament next month.
So now, what kind of sports does he play? Water polo. I mean, that's a thing that exists.
Water polo? Who plays water polo?
So, how have you been?
Yeah, I think we messed that one up. So, okay, we don't have any more conversations and subjects to bring up, so let's kind of...
So, can you unlock the freight elevator for me? I'm working overtime tonight.
Sure. But don't you usually go through the lobby? It's pretty nasty down there right now. The latest batch of recruits came in today, and they are rank.
So now we kind of have a hint of what might possibly be happening. There's recruits coming in to downstairs, so...
Why would you want to go through the freight elevator?
So, yeah. Okay, let's be honest. There's this biometric lock that won't let me in because I don't have the proper eyes, because I'm not the correct person.
You can't use the biometric lock. Is there something wrong with it? I've seen you use it multiple times a day whenever you come to the complex.
I have an eye infection. I don't think it'll work properly.
Improvisation.
But, Ma'am, it always works for Pink Eye Peter. You know, the scientist that never washes his hands.
Look, forget about that. I'd rather just use the freight elevator, okay?
Okay, but I'll need your ID to unlock the freight elevator, ma'am.
My ID? Can you just unlock it and let me in?
Standard procedure. I have to scan the ID of everyone that steps foot in there. For our records. Sorry.
I left my ID at home. I wasn't actually planning on coming in tonight. Do you think you can make a little exception for me?
So she tries to be nice about it.
Sorry, ma'am. I'll need your ID to let you in. No exceptions.
Oh, bollocks. Stay put. I'll be right back.
So...
Frank? Gavin? Something's wrong here.
What's up?
The guard doesn't believe me. He won't let me into the freight elevator, and he's asking for ID.
He'll definitely call for help if you try to force your way in.
Hold on. I think I've got an idea. I could try to lure him to the window with my, feminine wiles.
So... Yeah. I chose to go the wrong way and make all the wrong choices, except for the dog that he prefers, because I wanted to show this interaction. But yeah, he can... There's like 3 paths where he's gonna let you in and be your best friend and show up again later in the game. There's the middle path where you just did okay, not great, and he's gonna let you in and it'll be fine. And there's this path over here where you completely messed up and you're gonna have to use your feminine wiles. So now Sally suggests that to Frank and Gavin, and let's see their reaction.
Yeah, no.
You can fuck right off, Frank. I'll have you know I can be charming as hell. If I want to.
So let's try the feminine wiles. So now we have this special action that only appears once in the whole game. Use feminine wiles. So let's go see what that gives us.
Alright, ladies. I'm about to go down the freight elevator. Probably won't be able to contact you for a while.
So speaking of that comic book style that we have for the game, this was a nice example of a comic book sequence where, you know, we saw the action that takes place, and I think it's worth the payoff. It's a good payoff for, you know, messing up the conversation. And now Sally's...
I know you'll find a way to open a path for us to get back to you.
Just remember, you're supposed to be the boss of this place.
So let's go be the boss. Let's enter the freight elevator. So yeah, as a reminder, we're inside what's supposed to be a whiskey warehouse. So basically they're shipping and receiving whiskey and casks and bottles to ship Hogan's whiskey that Frank hates, but it's the standard whiskey basically. So now we found this whole giant thing underneath, which probably means that there's something fishy going on. So let's try to start dealing with the guards. So, how do we deal with the guards? I gain a little XP. I'm gonna level up. So now, let's have a look at this over here. So, Frank's Journal. Yeah, leveled up. So, this whole RPG system that's associated with the exploration thing, because we didn't have any combat yet, and I don't think we'll have time to see combat, but there's this combat system. So we're inside places where we shouldn't be. So we're infiltrating the warehouse right now, and if we get discovered, there's going to be some fights. So we gain XP and develop new abilities and kind of upgrade them, because I'm going to go put Sally's skill points in her new skills, or some of her existing skills. So what can I buff for Sally? So I could make her take less damage to just be more resistant overall. I think it's probably a good choice in this case, because Sally's the tank basically. She heals as well, but her main, like half of her main job is tanking, the other one is healing. She's gonna hit the enemies a couple of times every now and then, but her main task is mostly to take damage and heal the others while she survives. So I'm going to put some resistance to physical damage. So I have 2 points, 2 skill points every time I level up. So I'm going to put them in Brick Wall in this case. Every skill can go up to 4 points, but I can get gear that's going to give me 1 or 2 extra points to a skill sometimes. So in this case, I'm at rank 5, which gives me special effect. Well, the effect of having, basically when I'm healing, I heal 25 to 35% of the target's total health and hit points. I can cure some conditions that are on the characters. And currently costs 1 because I have medical expertise at full skill, which reduces the AP cost of patch up this healing skill and resuscitate this other one at rank 4. So basically, I think Sally's in a good place, but there's different ways to build her. We've tested the game with different builds, not only with Sally at full healing mode all the time, and different kinds of weapons, so the game is balanced. We worked a lot on that. So now, let's try to find a way to deal with the guards. There's this incinerator, maybe, you know, so, Examining the incinerator gave me a new sub-objective that says gone in a flash. So that's probably a hint. So we're gonna go ask Alan Burns. Yeah, so let's talk to him.
Hey, you.
Yes, ma'am.
So as a reminder, everybody thinks that she's the boss of the place because she's the head scientist, so she's the boss of this facility.
One of the lab techs left a ledger in the incinerator. I need you to go look for it.
And the incinerator? What the hell was he doing with a ledger in the incinerator?
Can you just go look for it, please? Like now?
Of course, ma'am. Right away.
So now he's looking for... He's in the incinerator. Let's go have a look. So let's shut the door.
I'm locked in! The door fucking closed and locked on the door!
So now, okay, now he's gonna bang on the door a bit, but nobody notices because they're all busy doing their guard work. So let's go have a talk to Thomas Neal. So let's talk to him about the incinerator.
Hey, Captain! Can you activate the incinerator? By the smell of it, it's overdue.
Door is sealed. Fuel pumps engaged. 15-minute burn. Ignition. There you go.
Good work. You obviously know what you're doing.
Sarcasm. Well, at least the banging on the door stopped. So, yeah, I mean, Sally gets the work done, even if it's not pretty. So now let's go have a look at the security guards that are talking over here. Let's talk to them.
Got in a couple of good punches with a Black Watch Wally fan. That'll teach that arsehole to disrespect our Sunday gold.
Yeah. Speaking of awesome accents, can't quite place that one. Scottish, maybe, if anyone knows. And yeah.
Are you a fucking teeny bopper? You're gonna get in some real trouble when one of those guys turns out meaner than you.
It's all in good fun. Why do you worry so much?
I don't need you getting your arse kicked and embarrassing me.
Hey, good evening.
Oh, hello, man. What's going on?
Just checking in. How are you two doing?
Doing great, ma'am. Super busy with guard duties. No complaints.
Okay, carry on then.
Yeah. So let's eavesdrop a bit.
Bloody hell. You gotta pay more attention when people are around. You can't always be going on about non-work stuff.
Speaking of.
Oh,
Nothing to report from my last patrol, sir.
I could try to get them in trouble with HR, but they're on to me. I'll have to be more direct.
oh, someone woke up in the cell, but I'm gonna end my turn because I'm out of action points. And prisoner wants to talk to me, but I'll talk to them about something else first. Oh,
Hey, how about that crazy guy that killed the two scientists last week? Pretty wild.
Yeah, a little computer tosser snuck past me and got into the lab.
I was working in the warehouse that night. Saw him walk out in some sort of trance, leaving bloody footprints behind him.
And nobody caught any flack from all that?
We all got together and pinned it on this one guard that was taking a shit when it happened.
teamwork makes the dream work. You know, all united together to pin it on one guy.
Yeah, Tony was filed immediately. Must have left town, I guess. Phone was disconnected and his flat was up for rent 2 days later.
And the scientists, were they working on anything important?
We don't get told what goes on up there. Probably for the best. From what we heard, they got proper butchered.
Fucking eggheads probably got with the...
Never mind.
Well, I won't take more of your time. Thanks for the chat. Got some things to take care of.
So, you know, Sally kind of has figured out that the woman in the duo is kind of a loudmouth that's gonna probably be in trouble if she kind of doesn't control herself. So we can try to...
Hey, lady.
Oh,
Over here.
someone wants to talk to us. I'll still ignore him for a while. I'll go call the HR hotline because Sally's plan for the woman is to report her to HR and kind of get her fired or sent away for a while. So I'm going to call HR to see if I can report her on that kind of intruder thing.
Hogan Industries HR hotline. Do you have something to report?
And with that square jaw, it's the same character model.
Hi. Yes, I have something very important to report.
So she heard about them talking about, well, discussing their gross incompetence. So that's probably some fireable offense.
No reports of such an incident, ma'am.
Sensitive subject. Going to have to try something else.
And thanks, Eddie, by the way. I really like this puzzle. This whole sequence is really fun. Well, the whole game is fun. This whole sequence is different a bit with the conversation puzzles because now you're not fighting the guards, you're infiltrating them, but you're their boss, so they're not gonna attack you. So now I'm gonna have to come up with another way to get this lady fired. So let's talk about her boss. I mean, everybody likes their boss. Maybe
So,
this.
what do you think of
trillionaire is kind
I
of
bet he
shady
had an
somehow.
employee killed the other day.
Oh ho. Some
Mr. Hogan's a top-notch bloke. He even called me personally at home when we lost our dog a few months back. Do you know any boss who do that?
Hey, you sure that wasn't a recording?
Couldn't be. There was a real genuine emotion in his voice. He actually cracked a bit when he said my name.
Definitely a recording. Me? I'm not really a fan of the guy. And that employee? Probably just another disgusting fat body.
Aye. I heard he'd been fucking up left and right for weeks. You need trustworthy people with all the top secret going on here.
Okay then. Nice chatting with you both.
okay. Even Sally's kind of doubtful about that one, but let's go call HR.
Hogan Industries HR hotline. Do you have something to report?
Hi. Yes, I have something very important to report.
So yeah, somebody says that they don't like the boss.
People are entitled to their opinions, ma'am. Please report only suspicious activities.
Well, have a good day.
Yeah, even when she's acting as the boss, Sally has her pissed off, super angry anime panel. Yeah, because she got hung up to her face a second time now.
Going to have to try something else.
So I'll finish this puzzle and kind of end the stream. But yeah, it's really nice to have people to chat with. And if you're new here, well, in the chat, say hi. Feel free. As a reminder, the game is out now. It's on sale on Steam for PC. At sundaygold.com, you can see our website. It's on Steam right now. It's a reasonable price. It's a good, I think, a good value for the entertainment that you get. It was made by people from Quebec in a cool studio with awesome partners that made everything kind of mesh together and happen, and I think it came out really nice. So I'm going to go talk to the prisoner because he
What do you want?
really wanted to talk to me a couple of minutes earlier, so I won't stiff him for too long.
Sounds like you're trying to get the guards in trouble.
And also, if you've played the Prelude, or you've seen us play the Prelude, that face, that guy, is the same guy that we've seen on the street in his cardboard box home in basically the start of the game.
You're pretty sharp for someone that looks so messed up.
You're a real smooth talker, lady.
Anyway, can you help me?
Sure thing. But you have to promise to help me after. Deal?
Sure. Now, what do you know?
I've seen that lady get called to the office twice in 2 days already. Looks like the bosses are really worried about the employees discussing unions.
Are they listening in on everything that the employees talk about?
No. The knobhead that works with her always waits until she goes to the WC, then calls HR. He runs up to the big computer over there as soon as she gets out of the room.
Okay, that's some useful information. Thanks, mate. Now, what do you want?
Just a favor.
Okay. Can talk to him again if we maybe have forgotten.
What was it you were saying?
Fucking hell, lady. Listen up this time.
So, attitude from a guy in the jail cell.
If you want to get a guard in trouble, get them to talk about unionizing. Then call HR to report them. They're real paranoid around here about that stuff.
So now we have this new option that showed up because Sally had no clue about what to talk about to the guards to kind of get them in trouble. So now, thanks to our lovely prisoner over here, we can talk about unions.
So, you two like working here?
Completely, ma'am. Nothing could be better. It's a wonderful company.
So everything is going swimmingly for this guy.
Damn it, Dennis, grow a fucking spine. You're such an ass-kissing wage slave.
She disagrees.
The pay's decent, sweet hours, can't complain.
How's that second job treating you? 60 hours a week just to afford a rat-infested flat in bloody Stabford. Soon, we'll have enough staff on board and we'll form the union and get our fair share.
God damn it, Michelle. Stop with the U word.
Right. So tell me how the workers are ever gonna make some gains in this fucking place.
Well, Mr. Hogan got to the top by working his ass off. If it worked for him.
Mark my words, people are starting to wake up and recognize their value.
Well, that was enlightening. I've got some work to do. Bye for now.
Okay, I think Sally found what she was looking for. So, yeah. Now I'm going to end the turn because I'm out of action points. And I'm going to make a beeline for the phone to call HR and report
Hogan Industries HR
Michelle.
hotline. Do you have something to report?
Hi. Yes, I have something very important to report.
So, yeah, okay. They talked about the U word, so let's report her on that.
Thank you for your report.
Oh, now he's listening, finally.
Any details on what that employee said?
Okay, what did she talk about? Like, renegotiating wages? The work hours? The forcible overthrow of all existing social conditions? The proletariat? Or dental insurance? Any preference? In the chat? I mean, Lisa needs braces. Dental plan. So let's talk about dental insurance first. That we're making stuff up. Like, she talked about wages and work hours, but we can talk about whatever because they're so paranoid about anything to do with unions that they're gonna take the bait immediately. So let's talk about dental insurance.
How dare they? Bloody workers.
Are you okay?
He's just freaking out now.
Sorry, sometimes it just becomes too much. Give them an inch and they ask for dental insurance.
Did you add it to the report?
Sally's acting her butt off now. She's crying. She's so stricken by that talk about
Yes,
dental insurance.
Of course. Any details on what that employee
Can
said?
incriminate her about more stuff now. So let's talk about wages.
That's usually where it starts. Freeloaders asking for more and more. I hope you reminded them of how good Hogan Industries is to its staff. Any details on what that employee said?
So maybe about the work hours.
Unbelievable. Given the privilege to work, and yet they still complain. Duly noted. Any details on what that employee said?
Maybe an extract from the Communist Manifesto. Fun research while working on that puzzle.
Oh dear, this is even more serious than I had imagined. I hope you were not too rattled by such talk.
I think I'll manage.
Remember, psychological counseling is available 24/7 for all employees at management level or above. Hogan Industries does care.
The more you know, or the more you care.
Any details on what that employee
Let's
said?
just get her in total trouble, in 100% trouble now. Something about
This has serious implications. Plus, an employee using one of the forbidden words is considered a serious offense. Any details on what that employee
I
said?
think that wraps it up, so that's all of it.
Thank you for your report. Your help is greatly appreciated. Now, I know it's not easy to denounce a fellow worker, but I'll need their name.
Her name is Michelle. Something.
Yeah, because, you know, Sally's kind of not really her boss, but yeah, she doesn't hesitate. Like, her name's this, but I'm not too sure about her last name.
Michelle Fawkes, from the Excelsior warehouse.
They know about her.
Yes. That's her.
5th report this month, 3rd this weekend. That is cause for immediate termination.
Well, I think that's gonna get her out of our way.
Unfortunate for her. But at least she won't be further contaminating her colleagues with her subversive ideas.
Thank you for doing your duty. May I have your name?
My name? What for?
To add this event to your Hogan employee record, of course.
And thank you for the link in the chat. Yeah, so basically, just a fun little future society gone downhill thing. They have records of all the employees that snitch on each other when they, for whatever reason, and she's gonna get like brownie points basically.
Diane Brixton.
So Sally's gonna, well, Diane Brixton's gonna get some brownie points for snitching on another employee.
Thank you, Ms. Brixton, for your vigilance. Have a wonderful day.
Michelle Fawkes,
Please report to the night manager's office immediately. Michelle Folks, night manager's office. Now.
What the fuck? That prick's got it in for me, I swear.
What did you do, Michelle? Bloody hell!
That was quick. She'll be out of the way now.
And Michelle is gone now.
Hey, lady. Over here.
So let's kind of wrap up this little sequence by talking to the prisoner.
Hey, thanks for the help there. That worked perfectly.
Told ya. And now you owe me.
What do you want? And if you whip your willy out, I swear I'll rip it off and feed it to you.
Okay, Sally's probably been in society for more than a week.
What? No. I want to get out of here, and you're going to help me. I've got the key on me, and I assume you're gonna need it. But the only way you're getting it is if you transfer me to testing.
Testing? What's that?
It's the next room over. No idea what they do. I just want the fuck out of here.
How do I get you transferred?
How the fuck should I know? You're pretending to be the boss. Do some boss shit.
Fine. I'll see what I can do.
And the prisoner has these little, like, different talking moments where if you're taking too long to his liking, for his liking.
Hey, any progress transferring me to testing?
Almost there.
What are you, getting paid by the hour? Hurry the fuck up!
So that puts you back in your place. And now let's wrap it up with a little chat with Dennis Newton, basically Michelle's conversation partner from earlier.
You again? Did you have something to do with Michelle getting called to the manager's office?
Didn't you report her twice in the last week? You should be glad.
Damn right! But you stole me thunder by getting her fired. Now I won't get credit for it.
Poor Dennis guy.
Sorry, mate. Didn't mean to steal your credit from getting your friend fired.
I'm sure you're up to something. I'll be keeping an eye on you.
So again, fun working conditions where the employees are trying to get each other in trouble to get brownie points. So, yay, the 2070s. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for me today. And thank you all for being here. It was a lot of fun to have people to chat with in the chat. And if you're interested in the game, it's available on Steam, and you can go to the link that was in the chat right now. And I'm Phoenix from Become Studios, signing off and wishing you a great night. And I'll probably be back next week, I think. So we'll keep playing. In the meantime, if you want to join our Discord, it's all indicated somewhere, I think. Sophie, you're probably going to be the better resource for that. But yeah, we have a Discord to chat about the game if you want to chat with other people that are playing, if you have questions, if you have feedback, if you just want to tell us how awesome a job we did, always welcome. And I think that's going to be that. So have a great evening or day or whatever, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Bye.